rest for the week for Blackburn Rovers, of course, as we take on Walsall this week over in the Caramel Cup. Will there be an upset, or will, of course, Rovers make it business as usual? I've got a Walsall fan standing by to answer all my questions, and he's coming at you That's right, folks, back once again with another Rovers Rivals video. Today we're taking a look at the EFL Cup, aka the Carrow Cup, and of course we'll talk about that in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe and mount it. All things Rovers related, EFL related, Carabao Cup related. We're going to all hear, boys, under one roof. Of course, Ross is standing by, talk about everything Walsall related, and of course the Cup. We'll get to that in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. But of course, let's get into it. Of course, digress about this game on Tuesday night. Joining me today is Ross. He is a Walsall fan, and of course, he has his own channel on YouTube, WFC Vlogs. He's joining me live for the preview of the game as we take on Walsall at Ewa Park in the Carabao Cup. So, Ross, for the small corner of the YouTube universe, tell them a little bit about yourself and why on earth you support Walsall.
So, firstly, thanks for having me on, mate. Really appreciate it. And obviously, me starting YouTube, I did start last February. Obviously, I took influence off a few other Walsall fans over on YouTube. And obviously, me being me, I love Walsall, I love football altogether. And so me doing this sort of thing on YouTube was just meant to be. So me creating videos for my beloved Walsall FC is something that I always love doing, and something that I love doing for the foreseeable future.
All right. Yes, indeed. And of course, we are building up to a big game. It's a big game on both sides of the coin for Walsall, for Rovers. I think, you know, regardless of where you are in this competition, you want to at least give it a go. So as Walsall come into this game, off the back of not the greatest result this weekend against Morecambe, how do you think Walsall will respond to their first match of the season heading into this match?
Yes, obviously, first game of the season against Morecambe wasn't the greatest. Obviously, it was losing 2-1 against the Shrimps was not the greatest result, not the result all us Walsall fans was hoping for. But going into this game against Blackburn, we all expecting nothing more than either a draw or a loss. Obviously, Blackburn are a high-table championship club. Besides, also we are expecting nothing more than a loss or a draw. But for me in particular, I am hoping Walsall can just hopefully, fingers crossed, just put a good performance. For me, I'm not feeling too confident going into this one, as I have gone for a 2-1 loss as a score prediction. Personally, I am hoping Walsall can just put up a good performance and hopefully score a goal during the 90 and potentially take the game to a penalty shootout. But who knows? I'm sure Matt Sadler, head coach, will hopefully be making a few changes and a few tweaks to the regular starting 11. But hopefully Walsall can put up a good performance against the Rovers on Tuesday night.
Yeah, because if it gets dragged to penalties, who knows? It's anybody's game. So if there's a player in the Walsall starting 11 that you think's going to be the one to get us off our seat with excitement, tell us who that is and why that is.
So I think there's only one player in Walsall's team at the current moment that can be named as a one to watch, and obviously he goes by the name of Danny Johnson. He played for us, had a 6-month loan deal last season from Mansfield Town. He left us in January, scored 15 goals in 6 months during his loan spell at Walsall, and obviously joined us back in the summer from Mansfield on a free transfer. Scored his first goal of the season on Saturday, a brilliant work goal for himself, and scored a couple in pre-season as well. And obviously, like I just mentioned, they got 15 goals last season. 15 goals in 6 months, which is a great stat if you ask me. Obviously, I think all of Wolves fans would agree. If he was to stay for an extra 6 months from January, I'm sure he'd be past the 30 or past the 20 mark, if you ask me. So all us Wolves fans are sure that he'll get 25, 30 goals this season in League Two. Hopefully he'll be able to make a start on Tuesday and hopefully get on the score sheet, who knows. But for me, Danny Johnson is definitely the one to watch for Blackburn on Tuesday.
Now, if I could push you, that's tricky on the spot, but if you could pick, or what team do you expect to be playing on Tuesday? Do you think it'll be much the same off Saturday, or do you think there'll be a bit of rotation for the Saddlers?
Like you said, I definitely think there'll be a few rotation in the squad. Potentially Owen Evans, our keeper, dropped to the bench to replace by Jackson Smith, who we had on loan from Wolves last season, who again joined us in the summer on a permanent deal. So I definitely think there'll be a change in keeper. Don't think there'll be a change in formation. Obviously, the 3-5-2 formation is something that Matt Sadler tends to go for on a regular basis. So I don't think he'll change the 3-5-2 formation. Priestley Farquharson, who didn't feature on Saturday due to having a tweak in his hamstring on the open training session last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's dropped to the bench to return to the matchday squad. And in terms of strike force, Dan Johnson, I definitely do think he'll be still in the start 11. Obviously, Aramir Altay, who started on Saturday, he was signed from Crawley in the summer. He started on Saturday alongside Danny Johnson as a forward, so I definitely think he'll be dropped to the bench to replace by either Douglas James Taylor or potentially Freddie Draper, who was suspended in the opening game of the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if he joins the starting 11 for Matt Sadler. But it's all about how Walsall react, really. Depending on how we are in the first half, I definitely think we'll be looking to make early changes in the second half. Like I say, depending on how we're getting on, because if we'll also find ourselves 2-0 down or 3-0 down after 10 minutes first half or during the whole first half, I definitely think there'll be a few changes going into the second half. But like I said there, I definitely think there'll be a drop in keeper. And defensive wise, I don't think it will change, but I think strike force, I definitely think DJ, Danny Johnson will be still in the team. And definitely think Aaron Altay will drop to the bench and either replaced by Douglas James Taylor or Freddie Draper.
Tasty few options. So of course, it could go anywhere, any which way. Penalties is definitely an option, and Rovers could play a complete change with a lot of youngsters getting this, so that could be a chance to cause a major upset. But I think you already touched on it already. But if I was to push you for a prediction, what would that be? And if any goal scorers, who's scoring your goals?
It's a tricky one because I think we mentioned this on my match preview that we just recorded. Like I said, I'm not feeling too confident going into this one. Blackburn are a really good side, championship club, that says it all, against little old Walsall in League Two. So it's definitely going to be a tricky game. But if I had to go for a score prediction, I probably will go for a 2-1 loss. Hopefully Walsall can take the game to penalties, but who knows? Goal scorer for Walsall, I'm going to go for the main man, Danny Johnson, to get on the score sheet. For me, is the only one in the Walsall squad that does look like he's going to put the ball in the back of the net at the current moment. So for me, 2-1 loss is what I'm going for on Tuesday night.
All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit here now. Of course, I want to kind of put a bit of perspective on Walsall. What is your overall goal this season as a team? Do you expect that you could be in the mix for the playoffs, or do you think it's going to be a transitional season, or do you have concerns for the long term for this Sadler campaign?
I think we say this year in, year out, Walsall fans. Obviously, one year we say this is the year we're going to get promotion. I think last season was all the spirits was high last season. Every Walsall fan was expecting us to get promotion last season. I think we made 20 plus signings in about 3 weeks in the summer transfer window last campaign. This campaign we made 9 signings, and then 9 signings. You could argue that the 9 quality players for League Two in particular. But like I just said there, year after year, we do say this is the year we can get promoted. Hopefully this year is the year we're going to get out of League Two. And we've been in this League Two tier for the last 5 years or something now. And each year we've seen nothing but pain. The standard of football we're watching has been really, really poor. And hopefully this year we can hopefully get out of this league. But it's really hard to say where we're also going to get promotion come the end of the campaign, because it's too early days to say. But looking at the first game of the season, Walsall didn't perform too well. So I definitely do think we've got to perform a lot better if we are going to change anywhere near the top 10, never mind top 7 or top 3. So for me, yes, I do think we could potentially get promotion this season. But like I said, it is too early days to say whether we definitely are or not. But overall goal for the end of the season, I think it is just to get promotion, really. Obviously, these type of cup competition that we're in there, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, are competitions in terms of that Walsall can't really worry too much about. Our Papa John's Trophy, which is the Pizza Cup that not many football fans are worrying about lately. But if I had to say what our main overall goal is this season, is definitely 100% to get promotion out of League Two.
Well, let's hope you can do just that. And again, I hope you have a cracking season. after Tuesday, of course, because it is football. We do want to win all our games, whoever we're playing. But I wouldn't rule anything out. You never know. And of course, if you are to take us out in your cup, in your seasonal progress, you never know. You might get one of those Midland teams, and then you can have a bit of revamp them rivalries that have been on hold for a little bit. But again, Ross, appreciate you coming by. Of course, I'll put your details in the link down below in the description. But of course, any closing comments before I wrap up the show?
Nothing really, mate, other than hopefully a good game on Tuesday night. Hopefully a few goals. Obviously, best luck to Blackburn, like you said, after Tuesday night. Fingers crossed Walsall can get the result we're all hoping for, but I wouldn't expect anything more than a loss. But yeah, best of luck for Tuesday and for the rest of the season.
Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A quick, short, sharp take, of course, of the Carabao Cup. And a big, big shout out once again for Ross for giving up a bit of his time to talk about his club, his dreams, and of course, the cup game itself. Of course, we will not be able to do a watch along for the game on Tuesday. I don't think there's anywhere showing it. If there is, there might be a last minute calamity and try and throw something together. But ultimately, we're just going to have to watch it from afar. But until then, guys, of course, make sure you give this video some love and smash your subscribe. Check out Ross's channel. Of course, I'll see you all for the next one.